Pride comes before a fall, and one thing you need to know about Rocket League players is there's a lot of pride involved, so there's also a lot of falling. Now, most professionals in the scene are pretty mature. Just kidding. Most Rocket League pros are like 16 years old. So you're gonna have some pretty funny moments where cocky pros got put in their place. Now, I wanna emphasize that I'm not trying to own some little kids that are half my age. And thankfully I don't have to, because in this video they own themselves. I'm gonna tell you 3 stories from the Rocket League community that you may have forgotten or have never heard of. One of them I'm sure you'll recognize because a lot of you were commenting on my 1v1 documentary recently that it is in fact the greatest 1v1 of all time. But we'll get to that. Let's start with one that's a little more recent. It's Vatira versus Rapid. Now, this all started when the Carmine Corp roster was announced, and they announced this roster change. Vatira was leaving Moist, and Rapid, just out of nowhere, comments, "Crazy how Vatira thinks he can have the same success as Moist did, literally won 4 tournaments. I'm glad I got to play EU players to see the level of skill of each player to know how stupid this move was, but I guess this is what happens when you're 16 years old making decisions." Interesting take. He almost has a good point. Vatira did have a lot of success at Moist, and it was a real bummer that team broke up. So in a way, he's speaking some facts, but just the way he did it, kind of out of nowhere, why are you calling out this one of the best players in the world? Obviously, we have the advantage of knowing how it turned out. This roster ends up having a ton of success, so now this looks really dumb. But back then, it wasn't quite as dumb. Still dumb, not quite as dumb back then. So then, Itachi, Vatira's new teammate, says, "Who the fuck is this guy?" So Itachi just decides to humiliate the entire North American region. Mind your career before talking. So honestly, kind of smacked back pretty hard. This is where I think we should realize this is not that serious. This is just competitive professional Rocket League players duking it out. But it gets way better. After you see this, it's going to be really tempting to go, "Oh, Rapid's such an idiot. I'm so mad. I want to go give him death threats." Don't. Just relax. It's fine. Rapid knows he's dumb. He actually recently said, "You know what? I'm kind of a clown. Sorry." And if you needed a hint of how serious this is, look at Rapid's response. Astro's better than you. The pros in the community thought this was crazy because we don't have a lot of drama in the Rocket League scene, so this was a big moment for us. JNaps with the rare tweet. He almost never tweets, so you knew it was a big deal when JNaps drops a meme like this. Extra just posts a video of Vatira with balloons on his head. Drew a lot of pros out of the woodwork. Then Nolly says, "Be quiet for once, mate." And Rapid responded to that by posting a TikTok of Astral dancing. So this is a very serious argument. And obviously, it was time to take this to the Rocket League pitch. How it all turned out is, for some reason, Rapid and Vatira agreed to do a 1v1 grudge match on Johnny Boy's stream. I'm not sure Rapid's 1v1 experience or Vatira, honestly. I don't think neither of them are really 1v1 mains. I mean, Vatira is the best player in the world, though. So Rapid basically, through Twitter, got himself in this mess. And boy, does it turn out to be a mess. Vatira is up-and-coming prodigy. So Rapid's confident with his 1v1ing experience. But in terms of... In terms of career success so far, I mean, Vatira is just miles ahead. Starts out kind of slowly. Vatira's up 1-0. But even at the beginning, you can kind of tell. Rapid goes for an aerial bump, but he manages to score on Vatira. So Rapid's feeling confident, goes up. He's going to try something mechy. Vatira goes, "Okay, maybe I actually have to take this kind of seriously." I know what happens in this match, but I've never sat down and rewatched the whole thing. So this is a fresh viewing for me. I'm curious myself to see how this unfolds. Rapid almost takes the lead there. I think that might be the only time he threatens to take the lead. Not to give away what happens in this match, but I think you can tell by the title, Times Cocky Pros got put in their place, that this is not going to go well for Rapid. Rapid actually takes the lead 2-1 with 30 seconds left. But then Vatira quickly takes it back. Wow, so we have overtime in the first game.
Perhaps nerves starting to kick in this, the most tense of moments. Vatira, oh, he's decided to go for the boost. Is he going to get back? He will. That looked pretty dodgy there. But he will actually get back and take control of the ball again. Now his Rapid misplayed. Vatira's away, and he scores to win.
So there was like 30, 40 seconds of just scrambling in the midfield there, and it finally breaks out. Vatira takes game. Vatira in the chat, what a bot. And we moved on to game 2. This is where it gets crazy. Rapid switches to the Dominus, and that won't be the only car change he makes throughout this series. I mean, Vatira just goes off. You could really see the anger from the tweets coming out here. So Vatira takes the first 2 games, and this is where Rapid pulls out the ultimate move. He pulls out the Karmine Corp with the clown topper. This is kind of the moment where Rapid goes like, hey guys, it was all for content. I'm being a clown. Unfortunately, he's getting destroyed by Vatira. I think this is about where I popped in, so I popped into the stream and see this going down. But yeah, I mean, Vatira is really just destroying him. It really is not close from there. I don't think the Rocket League community has that great a sense of humor, so I don't think they really appreciated how funny this was, for one thing. But also, the RL community saw it as Rapid sort of going, aha guys, I was joking the whole time. But they didn't really take it well, because he had talked all this trash, and rather than being all serious and backing it up, he decided to clown. Yeah, and Vatira is now just clipping on him. I mean, Vatira is just getting better and better and better and better and more confident as this goes, and it honestly becomes pretty embarrassing for Rapid. So basically, Vatira absolutely destroys trash talking Rapid. Rapid tried to make it look like he was doing it for content, and he probably was a little bit, but at the same time, he kind of just got put in his place. He called out Vatira in a very serious way, and then wanted to clown in the show match. So those two things together, I think, made the community sort of laugh at Rapid rather than with him. But our next one is much less serious, and it's really just a funny random thing that happened a couple years ago that I always found entertaining because, well, you'll see why. So all this is Wanda Mike said I could 2v1 Grand Champions. I could play 2 Grand Champions and I could beat them. And at the time, SSL didn't even exist, so Grand Champion was the highest rank. At the time, Wanda Mike was a bubble player, up and coming. Now he's of course a pro. I don't know that much about him other than he's mechanical, good Rocket League player. He was extremely confident. He said, yeah, I could beat 2 GCs. I don't have the Twitter threads anymore. I don't know if he deleted it, but what I do have is the result. Wanda Mike basically said, I could beat 2 GCs, and I said, no, you can't. And so we got 2 GCs, and Wanda Mike went on Johnny Boy stream to 2v1 2 Grand Champions. I was able to dig up the old Johnny Boy stream. I can't believe this still exists. I found this on an old Johnny Boy channel. It wasn't even his main channel, because I remembered this moment, and I was like, can I find evidence of this? Sure enough. And I remember being there and being like, there's just no way he's gonna beat these guys. Like he's not respecting the Grand Champions. I would, for
him at all, it's not gonna be an advantage for him.
Yeah, so I mean, basically it was never close. They just demoed him. I mean, it was, what was the point of this? He really thought he could do it. He thought he was him at this moment.
In a 2v1. And they know they're supposed to be winning, and they're wondering, why are we not winning?
Not much to show here. I mean, he got clapped.
I mean, Lethamyr was able to beat Floomp and SunlessCan in a 2v1. And they're both, I think Floomp did get Grand Champion 2v1.
That's right. Okay, so this came from the fact that me and Floomp lost to Leth, but we weren't GC at the time at all. Yeah, we were like Champ 1 or 2. This was back in like 2017. And so Wanda Mike saying, yeah, well, I could beat 2 GCs. It was like, no. And in the chat, you can see there, Sunless is a C2. Oh, here I am saying defy. There I am. So there you go. There you have it from past me. At the time, I was a C1 and Floomp was a C2. So that's what made Wanda Mike think, yeah, I could beat 2 GCs. I remember this part very clearly. Suddenly Wanda Mike's internet started getting really bad. After being so confident, playing a few goals, all of a sudden his internet started getting really bad. Pros, very confident in the game, as they should be. If you're one of the best players in the world, you should be super confident, but there are limits. And I think back then in this 2v1 that basically did not happen, Wanda Mike found his limits. But our last story of a cocky pro that got put in his place all happened within the game. It actually didn't happen on Twitter for once. So Leth comes out in game 2 in a Scarab with a clown topper. Once again, the clown afro topper rears its ugly head. And as you can see, especially with Rocket League Pros, this elicits a lot of emotion. It's not working for him, unfortunately. And so First Killer is really just kind of destroying him. And this is where the cocky part comes. Up by 3, just destroying Lethamyr. He could just destroy him, take the money, win, and go home, but he does this. Uses Scarab so he has an excuse if he loses. Nice one. Decides to trash talk Leth a little bit. The great part about this is actually Salt Mine, so it's kind of almost encouraging the Salt. So First scores another goal, and Leth says, well, the match doesn't matter after one loss. I'm just having fun. So kind of playing innocent, like, oh, just clowning around a bit. See you in the gauntlet, buddy. And First goes, it's still for $100, which is, at this point, it's not really that bad trash talk. He's kind of just like, why are you messing around? Like, First Killer's just mad he's trolling. And Leth is like, well, I'm just having fun. Leth decides to poke the bear a little bit. I'll pay $100 for fun, please. And this is where it gets a little personal. First Killer says, go play baseball. And Leth goes, salty while winning. OMG, says First Killer. Tensions get a little higher now. Not sure where the baseball comment came from. So 7-0 now. First Killer's absolutely destroying him. Leth goes, I was only going to do it for one game. It's that at Montreal you were wearing baseball pants. Really gets personal there. I have no idea what he's talking about Leth wearing baseball pants, but now I kind of want to reverse sweep somehow. Lethamyr is basically saying, like, you kind of pissed me off a little bit here. I'm not mad. It just seems disrespectful that you're not taking this serious.
I knew that these two did not have too much love for one another, but I did not realize it was this intense, or I didn't expect there to be this much chat between them.
even Johnny Boy caught a little off guard with First Killer kind of calling out Leth here a little bit. And then we get a beautiful Rule 1 here. This is where the really beautiful things start happening. Leth goes, come on, man, it was just for fun. I'll go back to the other car. And that's where it gets a little crazy. So provoked by First Killer, Lethamyr decides, you know what? You want me to take this seriously? I'll take this seriously. And he reverse sweeps First Killer in one of the greatest 1v1 show matches ever. Only because First Killer decided to voice his displeasure.
Capable, but certainly not at the level of some of the other players in the league. Definitely still a very winnable matchup for First. There's point with his shooting. If he doesn't put the ball goal here, he doesn't have any boost, and he's not getting momentum either. Couldn't save him. His kickoff's also not going to save him. There it is. Lethamyr gets his first win in the series. Not just beat First Killer, but reverse sweep him. After the demo, up early for it, puts it straight down the middle, take the ball again. And First Killer can't do anything about it. Getting back in time for this one. Has a good chance. First Killer doesn't get much of a bump on him. We see a tie game here. Lethamyr with a beautiful shot. First Killer is in a world of trouble. He can't get the ball. First Killer's so afraid of the 50 matchup against him. Going to be another goal. Yes, it is. Lethamyr run down the clock, but he won't have to from one goal in league play, and thus ends the streak of First Killer wins.
The thing is, of fans of Rocket League, the community does like when pros trash talk each other a little bit and have some cocky moments like that. But unfortunately, on the flip side, you also have moments like these, where it doesn't quite work out for them. I think that's just as entertaining, if not more entertaining. That's the risk you're taking with trash talk. If it doesn't work out for you, you have to be okay with looking a little foolish. And thankfully, I think these pros have gotten over these moments. I certainly don't view First Killer, Wanda Mike, and Rapid any less. If anything, I have more respect for them because I think it's funny and adds entertainment and adds some drama, some spice of life to the Rocket League scene. In a scene devoid of pretty much anything interesting, all we have is car soccer, just hitting the ball back and forth. So we need really anything we can get. So I'm grateful for these three cocky pros for speaking up and then unfortunately falling on their face, but then moving on and having illustrious careers. And all three of those pros, I'm sure, didn't lose sleep over these moments, but they did provide us with content, and for that I am grateful. So don't be rubbing in their faces. They already had their moment where it clearly, speaking up did not work out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little recap of 3 of my favorite little stories of Cocky Pros